Hi everyone, so we're continuing on with 7.3, number 4, tan, evaluating tan 5 pi over 8, exactly. So same thing what we did from the previous example, we'll let theta equals 5 pi over 8. So when we multiply by 2 for 2 theta, it's going to be 5 pi over 4. So we're going to use the double angle tan 2 theta. Okay, so replacing 2 theta with 5 pi over 4 and then theta by 5 pi over 8. Okay, so we get this then. Okay, and we know that 5 pi over 4 is just 1 using our special triangles. So now we're going to, after we've done that, we're going to cross multiply. So 1 times 1 minus tan squared 5 pi over 8 is just 1 minus tan squared 5 pi over 8 equals 2 tan 5 pi over 8. Okay, so you're going to notice that there's that square, right? So we actually have, if we move these two terms to the other side, we're going to end up with a quadratic equation. So then we can solve for tan 5 pi over 8, which is similar to 0 equals x squared. The actual equation, quadratic equation, is similar to x squared plus 2x minus 1. Okay, so what's that crying out for us to do? Then we're going to use the quadratic formula. Okay, let me just pull up the next slide. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So now we have we can use the quadratic formula using, and for B and A and C, we're going to use the coefficients. So we work that out. It's -2 plus or minus, and in the discriminant, square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times -1. So 2 squared is 4. -4 times -1 gives us +4. And we work this out. 4 plus 4. The discriminant is going to be 8. Okay, as you know, is root 8. Okay, throwback from grade 11 U. We changed that into a mixed radical, so it becomes 2 radical 2 or 2 root 2. So work that out then, simplify, we get -1 plus or minus root 2, right? But we know from that, that 5 pi over 8 is actually in quadrant 2. So that means if it's in quadrant 2, the tan ratio then is going to be negative because only the sign ratios are positive. So then we take the example 5, or the answer 5 pi over 8 equals -1 minus root 2. Okay, so now on to number 5a, and there's two parts to 5a. Okay, so 5a, tan theta is -4 over 3, and theta is between pi over 2 and pi. So that means then this is in quadrant 2. Okay, so tan 2 theta equals 2 tan theta minus 1 minus tan squared theta. So we're just going to substitute where you see tan theta, it's going to be -4 over 3. Okay, so simplifying that, 2 times -4 over 3 is -8 over 3. 1 minus -4 over 3, right? Squared. When you square that, becomes 16 over 9, but there's a subtraction sign there, so we keep that subtraction sign. And the 1 I wrote it 9 out of 9. Okay, so whenever you're dividing fractions, you multiply with the reciprocal. So the final answer for tan 2 theta is 24 over 7. Now it's time to work out sine 2 theta. Now in order for us to work with sine 2 theta, we need to figure out cos theta and sine theta. So on to the next slide. Okay, so like what I said, we need to find sine theta and cos theta. Now we know tan theta, given the question, is -4/3. Okay, so this is your y, and this is your x. So our r then is 5. Now, since sine theta, since it's in quadrant 2 according to the question, that means the sine theta has to be a positive. So that's why we got 4/5, and then cos theta is -3/5. That's going to be negative. Now it's time to work out the double angle formula, sine 2 theta. Okay, so we're just going to substitute. So sine theta is 4/5. And cos theta is -3/5. Okay, so the final answer then is -24/25 for sine 2 theta. Okay, all right, so next slide. Okay, so the next question . All right. Okay, so in what quadrant is the terminal arm of 2 theta? Okay, so we know from the first part of the question, tan 2 theta, we answer that it's positive. So if it's positive, then that means it's in the third quadrant, right? And in the sine 2 theta, we got a negative, right? Which makes sense because it's in the third quadrant. Okay, the 2 theta is in the third quadrant. Okay, and finally, the last question, number 6. Okay, we're developing a formula for cos theta over 2. It's a half angle. Okay, so same thing as in the previous example, we'll let x equals theta over 2. So using the double angle cos 2x, we're going to use the double angle 2 cos squared x minus 1. So 2x then, cos 2x will be cos 2 times pi over 2. When we reduce those, we cancel out the 2's, it just becomes cos theta. Okay, equals cos squared, and then change the x to to theta over 2 minus 1. Okay, and then what we're going to do then, we're going to divide each side by 2 to get the cos squared theta over 2 on its own. Okay, so obviously now we have cos squared theta over 2, but we need just cos theta over 2. So that means we take the square root we take the square root of cos theta plus 1 over 2. Okay, so once we do that, we account that for the two answers, plus or minus cos theta plus 1 over 2. So therefore, cos theta over 2 is basically plus or minus cos theta plus 1 over 2. Okay, let me just write that more clear. So cos the answer then is plus or minus cos theta plus 1 over 2. Okay. All right, so once you're done copying the answers and reviewing this lesson, please work on page 407, number 1, 2, B, C, D, 3, A, C, D, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12A, and 13B. So just make sure you do this homework there, although I crossed that out. It's just for the question I crossed that out. So page 407 is indicated in your handout. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. There will be a quiz tomorrow based on today's homework. Take care. See you tomorrow.